Hello, everyone. You know what haunts people more than anything else? It's not what happened to them. It's what they did to someone who didn't deserve it. That person who pushed you away, who hurt you, who made choices that broke something real between you, who walked away like you were replaceable, who acted like losing you was no big deal. They're not sleeping well right now. They're not at peace. They're carrying something heavy that won't let them go, no matter how hard they try to move on. Regret, real regret, the kind that wakes you up at 3 in the morning, the kind that makes every new person feel wrong because they're not you, the kind that turns memories into weapons against your own peace. And that regret, it's building towards something, toward words they've been too proud to say, toward an apology they've been too scared to offer, toward a chase they swore they'd never do, toward a comeback that's going to shock both of you with its intensity. Welcome back. It's Anna. And tonight we're going deep into what happens when someone who thought they could live without you discovers they were catastrophically wrong. When pride breaks under the weight of missing you, when ego surrenders to the truth that pushing you away was the biggest mistake they ever made. Let me show you what's brewing in someone's tortured consciousness right now. Here's what you need to understand about regret, real regret, not the surface kind where someone feels momentarily bad, but the deep kind that fundamentally changes a person. It starts small, a random memory, a song, a place. Something reminds them of you and they feel a twinge. They push it down. They tell themselves they made the right choice. They remind themselves of all the reasons they left or pushed you away. But the twinges keep coming, more frequent, more intense, until they're not twinges anymore, until they're full body experiences of loss, until every day without you feels wrong in a way they can't rationalize away anymore. It's possible someone is exactly in that progression right now. They thought they were over it. They convinced themselves they didn't need you. They moved on or tried to move on. And now they're discovering that moving on from you is impossible, that you're not someone they can just forget, that what you had wasn't replaceable with anyone else. Some people don't realize what they lost until they try to find it again with someone else and can't. Until there was someone new, and all they can think about is how that person is in you, until they have experiences that would be perfect, except you're not there to share them. You might be haunting someone exactly like this right now, not because you're doing anything, but because they can't stop thinking about you, can't stop comparing everyone to you, can't stop replaying what happened between you and wishing they'd chosen differently. Let me break down what the apology actually looks like. When it comes, this reflection invites you to consider, is there someone who owes you an apology they haven't given yet? Here's the thing about unexpected apologies. They're unexpected because you've stopped waiting for them. You've made peace with not getting closure. You've accepted that some people never take accountability. You've moved on or started to move on from needing their admission that they were wrong. And that's exactly when it comes. When you've released your attachment to hearing it, when you've stopped checking your phone, hoping they'll reach out, when you finally started building a life that doesn't revolve around waiting for them to come back. It's possible you're in exactly that space right now. You've done the work, you've processed the hurt, you've stopped obsessing over why they left or what you could have done differently. You've reclaimed your peace, you've started to feel whole again, and someone is about to disrupt that peace with words you needed months ago but have learned to live without. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I messed up. I shouldn't have done what I did. You didn't deserve how I treated you. Some apologies come from guilt. Someone feels bad and wants to clear their conscience. They apologize to make themselves feel better, not to make things right with you. But other apologies, they come from genuine recognition, from someone who's done the internal work to understand what they did and why it was wrong, who's not just sorry they lost you, but sorry they hurt you, who's taking real accountability instead of just performing regret. You might be about to receive exactly that second kind of apology, the real kind, the kind that comes with changed understanding, the kind that demonstrates actual growth rather than just temporary guilt. This reflection invites you to consider is less than #0. 5 is greater than would you even want an apology at this point, or have you moved past needing it? Let me talk about what being haunted by regret actually does to a person. It changes them, it humbles them, it breaks down the ego structures that allowed them to hurt you in the first place. It makes them question everything they thought they knew about what they wanted and what they needed. Someone who's truly haunted can't just move on, can't just replace you, can't just act like what happened between you didn't matter. They carry you with them in every quiet moment, in every new attempt at connection, in every space where you used to be. It's possible the person who hurt you is experiencing exactly this kind of haunting right now. They try to be present with other people and they can't because you're still taking up space in their head. They try to build new connections and they fail because they're still emotionally tethered to what they lost with you. Some people describe this as feeling stuck, like part of them is frozen in the moment they walked away from you, like they can't fully move forward because they never properly dealt with what they left behind. You might be exactly what someone is stuck on, the relationship they can't get over, the person they can't stop comparing others to, the choice they can't stop second guessing, the loss they can't accept as final. And that stuckness, it's building pressure, creating urgency, making them realize that they have to do something. They can't keep living in this limbo where they're without you but still completely consumed by thoughts of you. This reflection invites you to consider, has anyone seemed unable to fully move on even though they're the one who left? Now let me talk about the chase, because this is where things get intense. When someone who pushed you away finally breaks and decides they need to try to get you back, they don't do it halfway. They can't, because they know they messed up. They know they don't deserve another chance. They know they have to prove something real has changed. So they chase, they pursue, they show up in ways they didn't show up before. They make efforts they didn't make when they had you. They demonstrate consistency they should have demonstrated from the beginning. It's possible you're about to experience exactly this kind of determined pursuit. Someone who was distant becoming present, someone who was unclear becoming obvious, someone who took you for granted becoming desperate to prove your value to them. Some people don't know what they have until they lose it. That's a cliche because it's true. And when they realize what they lost, when they try to find it elsewhere and can't, they come back. Not tentatively, desperately. You might witness someone who was casual about you becoming obsessed with getting you back, who was indecisive becoming certain, who had one foot out the door suddenly banging on that same door begging to be let back in. And this chase, it won't be subtle, it won't be half-hearted. It'll be the kind of pursuit where they're pulling out all the stops, where they're using every tool at their disposal, where they're making grand gestures because small ones don't match the magnitude of what they're trying to fix. This reflection invites you to consider, what would it take for you to even consider someone who hurt you? Let me get real with you about something important: the comeback. When someone comes back after hurting you, after leaving you, after making you feel like you weren't enough, there's a part of you that wants to say yes immediately, because you missed them, because you still care, because part of you has been hoping for exactly this. But here's what you need to understand. A comeback is not the same as a real change. Someone can come back with all the right words, all the perfect gestures, all the promises of being different this time and still be the same person who hurt you before. It's possible someone is gearing up for a huge comeback in your life, planning what they'll say, rehearsing how they'll approach you, building courage to face you after everything that happened, getting ready to make their case for why you should give them another chance. Some comebacks are genuine. The person has actually done work on themselves. They've actually grown. They've actually addressed whatever made them hurt you or push you away in the first place. They're not just coming back because they miss you. They're coming back because they're different and they can prove it. But other comebacks are just loneliness in disguise, just someone who tried to replace you and couldn't, so they're coming back to what's familiar. Just regret without real change, just words without the internal transformation to back them up. You might need to figure out which kind of comeback this is. And you can't do that by listening to what they say. You have to watch what they do over time, consistently, in ways that prove the words aren't empty. This reflection invites you to consider what would actual change look like versus just better performance. Here's what I need you to hear about your position in all of this. You hold all the power right now, not them. They're the ones haunted. They're the ones with regret. They're the ones about to chase. They're the ones planning a comeback. You're the one who gets to decide if any of it matters, if the apology is accepted, if the chase is acknowledged, if the comeback is allowed. Some people forget this. They get so caught up in the fact that someone came back that they forget they don't owe that person anything. They don't owe forgiveness. They don't owe another chance. They don't owe their time or attention or emotional energy to someone who already wasted those things once. It's possible you need to remember your power here, to recognize that their regret doesn't obligate you to make things easy for them, that their apology doesn't mean you have to accept it, that their chase doesn't mean you have to stop running. You get to have standards. You get to require proof. You get to take your time. You get to say no if no is what protects your peace. You get to say yes only if yes serves your growth and happiness. This reflection invites you to consider, what do you actually want, regardless of what they want. Let me talk about what happens if you do let them back in. If their comeback is genuine, if they've actually changed, if you decide to give them another chance, things won't just go back to how they were. They can't. Too much has happened. Too much hurt has occurred. Too much time has passed. You'll be building something new, not reconstructing what was, creating something different with the lessons from what happened. And that requires both of you showing up differently than you did before. It's possible a renewed relationship could actually be stronger than the original, because both of you have grown through the separation, because they've learned what losing you costs, because you've learned what you won't accept, because the break forced both of you to become clearer about what you actually want and need. Some relationships need to break to rebuild properly, need to end to start again on better foundation, need to go through the pain of separation to come back together with real appreciation and commitment. You might be exactly at that potential, where what broke could become something better than it ever was, where the ending could become a new beginning that's healthier and more honest and more sustainable. But only if the change is real, only if both of you are different, only if the patterns that caused the break have actually been addressed and healed. This reflection invites you to consider, what would a better version of this relationship actually look like? Here's what you need to know about timing. This might happen soon, days, weeks, or it might take longer, months. The regret is building, but everyone has their own timeline for when they can't hold it in anymore, when pride finally breaks, when they reach the point where not reaching out is more painful than the risk of reaching out and being rejected. It's possible you're close to that moment with someone. They're almost there, almost ready, almost brave enough. The apology is forming. The chase is about to begin. The comeback is in the planning stages. Some people will reach out suddenly. One day you haven't heard from them, and the next day they're in your messages pouring their heart out. No warning, just sudden, overwhelming honesty about what they've been feeling. Others will test the waters first. A casual message, a like on social media, a question through a mutual friend. They're checking if you're still accessible before they go all in. You might see these test approaches soon. Small signs that someone is working up to something bigger, that the regret is pushing them toward action, even if they haven't fully committed to that action yet. This reflection invites you to consider, would you even notice the signs if they're already happening? Let me close by saying this clearly. Someone is haunted. Someone regrets losing you in ways that are affecting their daily life. Someone is building toward an apology, a chase, a comeback that's going to be intense because their regret is intense. But none of that determines your response. None of that obligates you. None of that means anything unless you decide it means something. You've survived without them. You've grown. You've healed or you're healing. You've learned that you can be okay even when people you love walk away. So when they come back, if they come back, you'll decide from a place of strength, not desperation, from clarity, not need, from wisdom, not hope alone. Stay grounded. Remember your worth. Protect your peace. Unexpected apology, it might shock you when it comes. Haunted by regret, they can't escape you even when you're not there. Expect a chase, they might pursue you harder than they ever did when they had you. A huge comeback, they might show up in ways that make you question everything you decided about moving on. But here's what matters most. You're not the same person they left. You're stronger, clearer, more certain of what you deserve. So if they come back, they're not coming back to who you were. They're coming back to who you've become. And who you've become doesn't settle, doesn't accept less, doesn't forget easily. They better come correct because you're not desperate anymore. You're whole, and whole people don't need anyone who couldn't appreciate them when they were broken. Remember that.